1. When mentoring junior administrators preparing for the RHCSA exam, which approach best aligns with adult learning principles? A. Providing step-by-step memorization guides. B. Encouraging self-directed labs with guided reflection. C. Delivering long lectures with limited interaction. D. Assigning rigid reading schedules without feedback. 2. A training evaluation for an RHCSA boot camp should prioritize which method to measure learner competency effectively. A. End-of-session surveys measuring satisfaction. B. Practical lab assessments simulating exam tasks. C. Instructor self-evaluations on teaching delivery. D. Peer feedback on classroom participation. 3. When designing RHCSA curriculum, which strategy most supports adult learners applying new skills? A. Integrating case-based scenarios on Linux system tasks. B. Limiting course content to theory-only lectures. C. Encouraging note memorization of command syntax. D. Removing opportunities for real-world problem solving. 4. A learner struggles to configure storage partitions in practice labs. Which mentoring technique is most effective? A. Correct their work immediately without explanation. B. Assign repetitive tasks until memorized. C. Ask probing questions that guide problem solving. D. Provide a checklist to follow without discussion. 5. In RHCSA training, which communication strategy most enhances knowledge transfer? A. Using technical jargon exclusively. B. Explaining complex tasks through visual demonstrations. C. Providing information in long, uninterrupted sessions. D. Avoiding learner questions during instruction. 6. Which evaluation method best ensures regulatory compliance in testing RHCSA readiness? A. Reviewing learner notes after each class. B. Administering standardized performance-based assessments. C. Conducting oral questioning during breaks. D. Allowing learners to self-report skill acquisition. 7. An instructor wishes to reinforce Linux management skills. Which curriculum method aligns with adult learning principles? A. Group projects analyzing real-world security scenarios. B. Providing definitions without context. C. Assigning rote memorization of SE Linux states. D. Avoiding group collaboration to save time. 8. During mentoring, how should an instructor address a learner who consistently misconfigures user permissions? A. Publicly highlight errors as warnings to others. B. Demonstrate the process once and move on. C. Scaffold the skill through guided practice and feedback. D. Ignore the errors until the exam approaches. 9. When developing RHCSA instructional materials, which approach ensures curriculum relevance? A. Mapping objectives directly to RHCSA exam domains. B. Using outdated Linux distribution versions. C. Designing materials focused solely on command lists. Avoiding hands-on activities to save resources. 10. Which evaluation tool most accurately measures long-term retention of RHCSA knowledge? A. Immediate recall quizzes. B. Scenario-based post-training assessments. C. Instructor's personal judgment. D. Learner self-assessment forms. 11. When communicating troubleshooting steps for system boot issues, which method improves learner comprehension? A. Giving learners a pre-written solution guide. B. Allowing learners to attempt troubleshooting while providing hints. C. Solving the issue quickly without learner participation. D. Delivering a one-time lecture with no practice. 12. Which mentoring approach fosters learner confidence in managing logical volumes? A. Assigning progressively complex lab tasks with coaching. B. Providing learners with answer keys only. C. Limiting practice opportunities to save time. D. Encouraging learners to memorize command syntax. 13. To evaluate the effectiveness of an RHCSA mentoring program, which data source is most valid? A. Learner satisfaction surveys alone. B. Post-mentorship exam pass rates. C. Instructor self-reports of learner progress. E. Informal peer conversations. 14. An adult learner requests additional support on system user management. Which instructional strategy is best? A. Provide customized exercises tailored to their workplace context. Require them to review generic online tutorials. Offer only group instruction without personalization. D. Limit their practice time to encourage independence. 15. Which regulatory compliance principle must be considered when assessing RHCSA learners? A. Ensuring equal access to standardized assessments. B. Allowing different exam formats for convenience. C. Sharing confidential exam content for preparation. D. Giving leniency to learners based on personal bias. 16. An instructor wants to integrate peer learning into RHCSA labs. Which activity best supports this? A. Assigning pair-based troubleshooting challenges. B. Asking learners to work individually only. C. Removing group interaction to reduce noise. D. Providing solutions upfront before collaboration. 17. Which evaluation design best balances formative and summative assessment in RHCSA instruction? A. Frequent lab check-ins and a final mock exam. B. A single multiple-choice test at the end. C. Instructor opinion-based grading throughout. D. Learner journaling without practical application. 18. When creating RHCSA study guides, which practice supports adult learning needs? A. Embedding step-by-step walkthroughs with real-world tasks. B. Avoiding explanations to encourage independent guessing. C. Designing guides with only theoretical content. D. Excluding troubleshooting examples for simplicity. 19. Which communication style best supports learners struggling with Linux service configuration? A. Empathetic listening, followed by guided problem-solving. B. Repeating the same instructions louder. C. Criticizing learners for not keeping up. D. Using only written instructions without interaction. 20. An RHCSA instructor wants to ensure learners can manage CE Linux policies independently. Which method works best? A. Simulated security breach scenarios requiring SE Linux adjustments. B. Providing SE Linux definitions for memorization. C. Limiting instruction to textbook explanations. D. Avoiding practical application to save time. 21. In developing RHCSA assessments, which practice ensures fairness and reliability? A. Aligning tasks with actual job roles and exam requirements. B. Designing arbitrary challenges unrelated to objectives. C. Allowing inconsistent scoring between learners. D. Creating tests based solely on instructor preference. 22. Which mentoring strategy supports learners with varying Linux experience levels? A. Differentiating tasks by skill level and offering scaffolding. B. Requiring all learners to complete identical tasks only. C. Discouraging questions from novice learners. D. Prioritizing advanced learners while ignoring beginners. 23. When evaluating learner progress on networking tasks, which method ensures validity? A. Performance-based assessments, configuring interfaces and firewalls. B. Relying on multiple-choice theory exams only. C. Using instructor assumptions without observation. D. Measuring attendance as the sole indicator. 24. An RHCSA instructor uses formative feedback during labs. What is the primary benefit? A. Learners can adjust approaches before summative evaluation. B. It saves grading time for the instructor. C. It reduces the need for hands-on practice. D. Learners no longer need summative assessment. 25. Which adult learning principle is best demonstrated when instructors integrate learners' workplace Linux challenges into RHCSA practice? A. Relevance to real-world experience. B. Passive lecture-based delivery. C. Memorization of arbitrary facts. D. Avoidance of learner input. 26. Which communication method is most effective when teaching critical exam topics under time pressure? A. Clear, concise instructions with structured demonstrations. B. Delivering rapid content without pauses. C. Using abstract theory with no context. Speaking only in technical jargon. 27. Which mentoring feedback style most encourages learner growth during RHCSA practice? A. Constructive specific guidance linked to performance. B. General praise without direction. C. Ignoring errors to build confidence. D. Harsh criticism to enforce compliance. 28. In RHCSA curriculum design, which component most enhances adult learner engagement? A. Interactive labs simulating real Linux administration scenarios. B. Passive video lectures without application. C. Content-heavy slides with minimal interaction. D. Repetition of command lists. 29. Which evaluation technique ensures compliance with credentialing standards for RHCSA training? A. Documenting performance-based outcomes aligned with objectives. B. Using instructor opinions as the only metric. C. Allowing learners to self-grade their performance. D. Testing unrelated skills for variety. 30. An instructor mentoring learners on exam preparation should prioritize which mentoring technique? A. Building learner autonomy through guided practice. B. Providing all answers directly to reduce stress. C. Avoiding difficult topics to prevent discouragement. D. Focusing only on instructor demonstration.